Just a heads up before I talk you through the strat, it's not 100% consistent. If the second Flesh Slips decides to play silly buggers, you're probably going to have to strafe away and then come back. Because as you can see, it just doesn't work out if you try and continue as normal. Regardless, you're going to have to improvise based on where they are. It's rare though, something I thought you should be aware of. If you really value consistency, I'd recommend the strafe strat. It's only a little bit slower, but more consistent. That said, onto the actual strategy. Shoot the first Flesh Slips once when you're happy it's close enough, then while still holding aim, take 2 steps back and shoot it 2 more times. This should kill it. Where the second one's going to be varies depending on where it's moved to. Strafe to get the camera to pan around quickly while still facing the enemy, then aim to lock on, and strafe to get to its side. When it's close enough, shoot it 3 times and it's dead. Reload while waiting for the third one to spawn in. As soon as you can see where it's dropping down, get to its side and give it some space to come to you, and then when it's close enough, just fire 3 shells and it's dead. Don't bother trying to reload before the cutscene starts, because all that will happen is you'll reload after the cutscene. I opt not to hold the attack buttons during the cutscene, and instead wait briefly, about until I can see the Flesh Slip stop moving, before I fire the first shot. I'm trying to guarantee that it dies in 3 hits, and if it's farther away it's going to take less damage from the shotgun. The idea with the back steps is trying to manipulate the second Flesh Slips, just to keep them moving. You can think of them like rook chess pieces. They can only move forwards and backwards and laterally. Also, it gives James space to fire the next 2 shots, because if you're too close to a Flesh Slips when you first shoot it, it's going to try and do a grab, which moves its hitbox, and you won't deal enough damage with your shot. May even cause you to miss entirely. Or you'll be interrupted by an attack. You see, James is really slow with a shotgun, and the enemy is able to move and start attacks in between shots. I always opt to shoot them in their side, because there's a wide margin for error with how close you can be and still deal enough damage over 3 shotgun shells. Also, on normal, they are very, very slow to react to you being side onto them. They don't have an attack that can just hit out to the side, you see, they have to turn around. So it gives you a very long time to do damage. Also, it eliminates the issue of them rocking as they get hit, which can affect how much damage you deal to them. There's a few reasons to strafe to try and find the second one. It's the fastest form of movement from a dead stop. Also, it makes James face where the Flesh Slips is going to be, which speeds up the transition into the circle strafe after you've locked on. It won't take you very long to get used to the distance between James and the enemy before you start shooting to get enough damage out of all 3 shells and not be interrupted. Like I mentioned earlier, there's quite a margin for error on it. I don't really know what determines where the last Flesh Slip spawns. It could be James's position, it could be the camera angle, it could be where the enemies died. It doesn't matter because you get moved by a cutscene when the fight ends, and no position is slower than another. The only thing really is just avoid being underneath it when it comes in, because it'll be able to attack you before you can attack it. And if you're too close, you're not going to be able to kill it in 3 shells. You always want them to come toward you with the shotgun, because even if you move James as close as you can be to an enemy and hold the attack buttons, James will stop, take a step back, and then fire. That means you want enemies to come towards you so that they're as close as they can be before you start shooting. These enemies, by the way, they only have 2 attacks. They have the strangle attack, which is the one they will default to. However, if James is moving too much, or there's something blocking them, they will do this fast kick attack instead. If you get grabbed by the choke, spam the movement keys and action to get out of it, although you will take damage because the damage is right at the start. The kick can be blocked, and it doesn't track. And if you're playing on anything other than hard, you can cancel the block animation with a weapon hotkey, though more often than not it'll be faster to just tank the hit. In general, in this game, enemies are aggressive until they do damage, in which case they then back off a bit. Flesh Slips are the same. They'll just spam kick after kick after kick, but as soon as they hit, they'll then back away. I think that's it. If you've got any questions, you can just ask. Oh, this strategy also works on hard, though they're going to take 4 shots, which means you're going to have to reload before you kill the second one, and again while the third one's spawning in.